Welcome to the Mayton Apex Fine Wine training. We're about to launch a very exciting new wine list and wine program. We wanted to start with basics, so we're going to go to the source and we're going to start with a by the glass list that is all French. Now you say, well, I don't know anything about French wine. Well, you actually do, and I'm going to walk you through the steps, and I'm going to take your knowledge of domestic wines and we're going to translate them into France, to the model where they came from. We're going to start at the top. We're going to start with sparkling wine. Everybody says champagne. So the first thing you need to know about French wines is French wines are labeled by the region. So when you say champagne, you're not talking about the sparkling wine from Champagne. You're also talking about the region of Champagne. So Champagne is a place. The wines that come from Champagne are called champagne, and they have to be made in a certain manner. This is a classic Paul Roger champagne. It is on the bottle list. This is a blend of Chardonnay, Pinot Meunier, and Pinot Noir. A wonderful, medium-bodied, round and fruity, complex and smooth reserve-style brut. So, Champagne, wine region, grape varieties, Chardonnay, Pinot Meunier, and Pinot Noir. Now, the one thing that makes champagne unique is the method that they get the bubbles in the bottle. All the secondary fermentation takes place in this particular bottle, and it's trapped the carbon dioxide and bubbles in this bottle. That's the traditional way of making sparkling wine. We do not sell this by the glass because champagne by the glass would be a little too price prohibitive. But what we do have is a wonderful wine from the Jura region of Burgundy. This is 100% Chardonnay, and it's done in the same manner as champagne. The secondary fermentation takes place in the bottle. This is from the mountains to the east of Burgundy. This is a wonderful champagne quality wine that sells for a fraction of the price. This is a perfect wine to sell by the glass for anybody that's asking for sparkling, or if they come in and say they want champagne. This will knock their socks off. Now for the value glass, we have a wonderful Veuve de Vernay. This is done in a different method. This is called a Charmant method, where the secondary fermentation to get the bubbles is done in a large tank that is closed. So it is much less expensive to produce. The wines are almost as complex and almost as sophisticated as champagne or the method traditionnel, but they can be produced at a fraction of the price. This is a very interesting wine because it's called Veuve de Vernay. Vernay is a village, so as you remember, we're naming everything by where it comes from, and Veuve means the widow. So the widow of Vernay was very instrumental in backing this producer, whose name was Charmant, to make a wonderful value sparkling wine. These two are offered by the glass, and they make a wonderful start to any meal. Nice, dry, fragrant. They have the Veuve de Vernay has a touch more sweetness, and the Côte de Jura has a touch more richness and a touch more complexity. Enjoy. Welcome to Wine Training at the Mayton Inn, presented by Apex Fine Wine. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the new French-focused wine list by the glass with the white wines. We have 5 great selections of white, which will cover every palate of the customer coming in. Once again, we're going to start and we're going to tell you the wines are labeled by the place they come from, and the place they come from determines what grape they are used in making them. We're going to start with what I call the mother-in-law wine. This is a great substitute for Pinot Grigio. This is from the Côte de Gascogne, the same region that gives us Foie Gras and Armagnac, and it's made from a wonderful little grape called Uni Blanc. This is light, dry, fresh, fragrant. Anybody that's looking for maybe an alternative to Sauvignon Blanc, maybe they're looking for Pinot Grigio or Soave. This is a wonderful, light, dry, crisp white wine will go with everything, makes a perfect aperitif, a perfect cocktail wine. Now, we're going to go a little bit to the north and to the east. We'll go to Alsace. Alsace is known for making Rieslings, Pinot Gris, and Pinot Blanc. This is a Pinot Blanc. This is what I like to call the just right wine. Not too sweet, not too dry, not too tart, not too flabby, not too fruity, not too fragrant. It is just perfect. People look at the bottle and they think it must be sweet since it's in this tall bottle. Nonsense. This is nice. This is the perfect bottle of wine for the adventuresome wine drinker. Once they taste it, they realize everyone likes it. It is peachy, it is fresh, it is fruity, but it's not sweet. So if you can get someone to try it, I guarantee you they will love Alsatian Pinot Blanc. Wonderful wine by the glass, works with lighter fare, also works as an aperitif and works for a cocktail as well. Next, we're going to move to the Loire Valley in France. This is Berthier. This is from a little village right outside of Sancerre. This part of the Loire Valley is known for Sauvignon Blanc, and this wine is 100% Sauvignon Blanc. The difference in Sauvignon Blancs coming from the Loire, as opposed to coming from, let's say, New Zealand, where a lot of people are familiar, this does not have the telltale pink grapefruit signature notes, but it has lots and lots of citrus. Think more lemon and lime and tangerine. It also has much more mineral depth to it, but it still has that bright, tangy acidity, and it's a wine that I love to refer to as refreshing. Classic pairings with Sauvignon Blanc, and especially the Loire Valley Sauvignon Blanc, or anything vegetable related, salads, anything with goat cheese go wonderful with the Sauvignon Blanc. So once again, makes a perfect aperitif wine, makes a perfect cocktail wine, and also goes very well with your lighter fare. Don't pair this with heavy dishes or it'll get washed out. So those are the light style, and then we'll go to the heavier style white wines. Everyone thinks heavier style white wines, you automatically go to Chardonnay, and we have two examples of wonderful Chardonnays, and these are both from the Burgundy region of France. We're going to start with the Touzeau Macon Village. This is a wonderful producer. This is a lighter style, no oak on it, so it's dry. It's more of the apple and pear, but it doesn't have the vanilla and the oak and the toast flavors. The customer that comes in or the guest that comes in that says they would like a glass of Chardonnay, they will be immediately happy with it. The next one we're going to do is from a region of Burgundy, which is not actually far from the Macon. This is the most famous region in the southern part of Burgundy. This is Pouilly-Fuissé. Most people are familiar with Pouilly-Fuissé. This is the kind of the granddaddy of Chardonnays from the southern part of Burgundy. This sees time in barrel, so you get some of that smooth, kind of vanilla, toasty, oaky characteristic, and a little more body. This would go great with chicken. It's a little bit heavier. You can use it throughout the meal, and it will stand up to your white meats, your fishes, and any sort of vegetable dish as well. That concludes the white wine portion of our wine list. A little something for everyone. If you have any questions, please come find me, and I'll be happy to expand upon them. Thank you very much. Welcome back. Part 3 of wine training for the Mayton Inn from Apex Fine Wine. We're going to do reds today. Once again, we're staying in France, and we're going to walk you through some different regions of French wines and how they relate to maybe some wines that you're more familiar with. So we're going to start with the classic wine by the glass from every French bistro, French restaurant, and any French type of eating and drinking establishment that you're ever going to find. It's called a Côte de Rhône. This is Domaine Sorcius. This is a Côte de Rhône. It's 85% Grenache is the grape. Grenache is the workhorse grape in the Rhône Valley, and it is a wine that people are starting to discover in droves. We hear all the time people like big, thick, full-bodied Pinot Noirs or smooth, silky Cabernets. What they're actually describing is Grenache. For centuries, people have flocked to this nice, warm, heady type of red wine that goes perfectly with a hamburger, with a stew, or with just sitting outside and watching the fall leaves change. For the guest who might like Meiomi Pinot Noir, this is a perfect thing to suggest that they try. It has that similar silky, big, rich texture, lots of flavors, and very, very smooth and low tannins, which is what people want out of a glass of wine. You will make a lot of friends with this wine. We have. So for the more delicate wines, and the other very, very popular wines that people are drinking by the glass right now are Pinot Noirs. We're going to put 2 Pinot Noirs on the list, both from the region of Burgundy. Burgundy is the ancestral home of Pinot Noir. And we start with a wine from the Macon region. This is Touzeau Bourgogne Pinot Noir, and it is a wonderful light, bright style of Pinot. This is a very different style than what some Americans are used to with Meiomi Pinot Noir. This is a wine that's built on aromatics, it's built on brightness, and it's almost a crunchy type fruit, which just goes great with kind of fatty meats, charcuteries, or anything to that manner. Just to the north, and you would think going to the north we're going to a cooler climate, but in this case we're going to a slightly warmer climate. This is from another small region called Mercury in the Côte Chalonnaise. Mercury wines are a bit fuller bodied than your basic Bourgognes. They have a bit more depth, a bit darker fruits. They are still not a heavy, full flavored wine or full bodied wine, but they once again have wonderful aromatics that just jump out of the glass and go with everything. You can drink this as a cocktail wine as well, or as an aperitif, or all through dinner. If you're going with heavier, beefy type dishes, you might want to steer them away from this. But other than that, it is a perfectly versatile red wine. It will go with just about everything. Lastly, we're going to get into the claret style wines. This is Merlot-based and Cabernet-based wines from the Bordeaux region of France. When most people think of Bordeaux, they think of the classified growth, the storied chateaus and the 3 to 4 figure price tags. There's a whole world of really great Bordeaux that is not in that price point. We're going to start with a little Bordeaux Superior, Chateau Moulineau. Chateau Moulineau is mainly Merlot, and this is what we like to call a bistro wine. This is a wine that you would sit and sip. It is gutsy. It will go with all kinds of food. It has body, it has texture, and it has nice, firm tannins which dry out the palate and leave you wanting another bite of the food you're eating. The next wine we're going to do is a Cabernet-based wine. This is Chateau Belair Gloria from the Alpes-Médoc. This is a left bank wine. The left bank is famous for Cabernet Sauvignon. And this is 75% Cabernet Sauvignon with a little bit of Merlot and a little bit of Petit Verdot blended in with it to give it a little smoothness and a little more color. This is a 2014 and it is a very classy, very mineral dominated, and it has that heady character of bright red berries. It has cassis, it has dark fruits, it has leather, and it has cedar, and it is about as complex and delicious as a wine by the glass as you will find anywhere. I hope this gives you a bit of information and gives you the confidence to sell.